Cannot even make this stuff up. I'm in my edits in the area of communications and breaking news. There is a court filing about Donald and his suppression of free speech. I think I included it around minute 24. Enjoy. Hello, friends. I just finished the new moon in Aries. It gives us so much hope for this season and for the upcoming year. I here have taken the January 21st Taroscope from that monster blood red supermoon lunar eclipse, January 21st. It lasted 2.5 to 5 hours in totality, and it covered North and South America. Compare that to the eclipse we had, I believe, on July 2nd, 2019, which lasted like 3 minutes. When we have eclipses that long of a duration, they cover more land, more surface area of the Earth's crust. So it's very much the changes that happen to not just an area, but like an entire hemisphere this time. So I found it important that we revisit this lunar eclipse so that we know the themes that are coming up as it gets decisively triggered, starting with this Aries new moon. So what exactly was triggered by this Aries new moon on March 24th? Aside from it being the start of a new zodiac cycle, we have the planet of Saturn at 0 degrees Aquarius. And it's extraordinarily important because Saturn, being a slow-moving planet, triggers that January 21st supermoon eclipse. The entire time it's there. Okay, so if you recall, back on January 21st, the moon at the top of the chart, conjunct the midheaven, the highest point, was 0 degrees 52 minutes Leo. At the bottom of the chart, the sun was 0 degrees 52 minutes Aquarius, conjunct the lower heaven. Planets conjunct the lower heaven have a lot to do with healing our history before us. When it has to do with the sun, representing the President of the United States, that is healing the karma of those who preceded him. In fact, because the moon is in Aquarius in the U.S. natal chart representing the people, it also has to do with our highest hopes and dreams and wishes and desires for the betterment of humanity that we have not realized yet as a nation. And that is very much what 45's presidency, in my opinion, represents. Hitting our Pluto return, the destruction, the transformation of our government and agencies to become what we promised we would become when the Constitution was written and we declared our independence. And here you see, that is Saturn at 0 degrees 10 minutes in Aquarius in the 12th house of hidden secrets, enemies, retreats, healing for this entire new moon Aries and this zodiac cycle. Saturn is a planet of obstruction, oppression, that a heavy weight we have felt so burdened with by this administration since they've entered, but especially this past winter, their style of rule, and also last summer, how just oppressive they've been. That has moved out of Capricorn, which has to do with government. It's moved into Aquarius, which now demands stability and accountability when it comes to things that are of humanity and our higher hopes and wishes for us collectively. That is what is getting started. Also, Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus. And Uranus is that chaotic planet that Donald toys with and creates chaos. He can't do that anymore. Beyond which Uranus is in square to Aquarius now and Saturn, it will really limit him. It's also the reason why Bill Barr looks so awful at that press conference. It's why Mitch McConnell threw a fit. This Saturn in Aquarius is going to be throwing up obstructions against them. It's going to be difficult for them for the next 3 months or so, because when it goes retrograde, it'll go back into Capricorn. But we're getting a preview of what this ending part is for this photos. So enjoy. This reading is the Taroscope for that January 21st, 2019 eclipse. So these are all the themes that are being touched upon. You go back to the headlines of the time. Common themes had to do with the shutdown, bailouts, tax cuts, big business, Roger Stone, a lot of stuff going on in Venezuela. Supposedly we were having a coup on Venezuela, but in my opinion, it has to do with the administration doing some collaborative stuff with Russia and China in Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, etc., etc. So that's what this story is about. This is why I redid this, so that you would know what we're in for, and so you could savor it, okay? Enjoy. Okay, hey friends, these next 24 to 48 hours are going to be a massive, massive, major shift, not only for us in the United States, but in North America and South America. This is a January 21st total lunar eclipse that lasted 2.5 hours. This was the one that was the end of Donald's inauguration. Midheaven, that's at 0 degrees 4 minutes. It's going to hit the moon at 0 degrees 52 minutes, the sun at 0 degrees 52 minutes. On top of that, this is a new moon eclipse over Washington, D.C. last July 2nd. The Mars at 0 degrees 31 minutes Leo. At the full moon, Mercury is at 1 degrees Leo, 32 minutes retrograde. So it's falling back and like applying to the Mars here, because Mars is going forward, Mercury's going backwards. So all this is going to be irritating all that information from the 9th house. Whose house? Putin's house overseas. I think Donald drew the 8 of Wands, so things are going to develop rapidly here. This is huge. Talk about rattling the world. This is it, guys. This is it. So even though way back in January I didn't have a channel, I think I was reading tarot cards for about a month. So like I would even know what a taroscope was. I'm going to throw a taroscope now so we can kind of get a flavor for what's going to be shaking down. Everyone around you is going to be reacting, probably losing their minds. I mean, this is going to be such upheaval for people who have no idea what's going on. So be patient. Yield to other people. Get out of the way. Give people their space. Pull your energies in. Protect your auras. Okay, here's the beast. I wish I did this a long time ago. How eye-opening is this? This taroscope has Donald Trump, upper left corner, Putin, upper right, Jared, lower left, Bill Barr, scumbag, lower right. The Republican Party is in the circles. So this is the January 21st full moon eclipse, the end of Donald's inauguration. I can't remember if they just ended the shutdown or that was a following week, but Bill Barr was going to be sworn in within the coming weeks. So when we look at the ascendant, which was 25 degrees Libra, which by the way, we're at 29 degrees Libra. 25 Libra squares Donald's Venus. So the ascendant is ruled by Venus, money, but it squares Donald's natal Venus, which happens to be in the 9th house of long distance travel. Whose house? Putin's house. There's where we know right now Donald's money is there. And it's right there by the North Node. The North Node is that which karma is pushing us towards. That's where we're to grow. So on the ascendant, Donald grew the fool because he was off to a new venture, because we shut down the government. We're going to build the wall. We are pissing off the Dems. Blah, blah, blah. Putin drew the Eight of Pentacles. Yippee! Look at all this data. Look at all this money. We're going to convert it to crypto and Bitcoin. Jared drew the government, so he's going to be like managing the agencies and the organization. Bill Barr has Pelosi in his crosshairs because she's going to be the speaker. She is his biggest concern. The Republican Party has 10 swords in their back. They must do everything that these yahoos say that they got to do. 10 swords. That's how they started it. That's how. This is what is going to be happening. This was the premise of that eclipse for them. In the 12th house of secrets, hidden enemies, Donald drew the King of Pentacles himself. The secret is that this is all me. Putin drew the White House. His secret is that he owns the White House. He has a direct connection to the White House. Jared drew the Hanged Man. Yeah. Remember, I've told you all the time, this is him. And I think it's because he gets caught. Barr's secret is to make sure Donald hangs on to what he has. And the Republican Party, look at this Eight of Cups. This is disgusting. They're setting everything up behind the scenes. And you know where I see the Eight of Cups is where I see the data and where we are inflicting damage upon other people when they gaslight and they set up certain situations that are exploited to make them look good and make Dems look awful. And for financial gain. In the 11th house of hopes, wishes, dreams, and friendships, Donald drew the Six Wands Mob. That's his hope. Those are his friends. Putin drew the Ace of Swords to accomplish his slice and dice of the United States of America. Jared is there to make sure he separates all of the people, separates all the humanitarian stuff, just separate everything. Bill Barr's job is to make things happen quickly, and the Republican Party is to go and watch and go after Speaker Pelosi. In the 10th house in the public skies since the shutdown, Donald drew the Ace of Swords. How he's just going to obliterate DC and everything we stand for. Cut it down. Russia was the only one. Putin was the only one who drew the Hermit. They are in the skies spying on every little thing, taking every little thing in. They are hovering over us, spying all of the time. Jared unleashing the devil all over DC. Bill Barr, all that new money and what he's going to do with it and all the new things of value that are coming his way. He's so greedy. The Republicans, 9 of Cups, which they see in the skies, the Trump crime syndicate, and that's where they will stay. In the 9th house of Putin's house, faraway lands, there's the moon. We know that Donald's Venus, his money's there. Six of Swords. Donald. Six of Swords, you know, right side up is getting to calmer water, and they are transitioning intelligence. But you know what they're doing? They're trapped. He is trapped by Russia here. Russia is going to retreat. No big deal. Jared, this is like the White House East in Moscow. Bill Barr is like, look at all that money, look at all that crypto, look at all this money that's going to be laundered back to Russia. And then, you know, because he's in law enforcement, ninth house represents law enforcement and the courts. He's like, look at all this play money I get to manipulate. The Republican Party drew the Six of Swords right side up. They're transitioning information, money, electronic data over to Russia regularly. In the 8th house of other people's money, taxes, life, death, transformation, but mostly it's about money, bribes, laundering, crypto, money that's transformed in one form to another. Donald drew the sun. That's who he is. Everybody else's money. Putin sees that as his money to steal. Jared, causing heartache all over the place with people's money. Bill Barr is getting all sorts of offers and money from Donald that he's to transition to somebody else. The Republican Party, the GOP, sees other people's money as part of the function of the lovers, Trump, Russia. In the 7th house, we the people, Donald drew, because we're his opposition, the Four of Wands, the White House, legislating and hurting us. The White House sitting square on the people. Putin drew the Eight of Cups. That's setting stuff up. That has everything to do with micro-targeting, violence, from mass shootings to accidents to catastrophes that have been kind of staged, like PG&E, wildfires. Jared, we the people, he drew the Six of Cups. He sees us as their payment to Putin for everything that Putin did for us in the elections. Barr sees himself as exerting a tower on the people, creating outrage. And the Republican Party, the Page of Swords, inserting spies against the people. Just gaslighting and just being ruthless against the people. In the 6th house of service, public office, investigations, military, Donald drew the Two of Pentacles. It's his thing that he can balance the checkbook with. Putin sees it as the Nine of Wands reversed. You know, the Nine of Wands, that is Donald's financial debts to Putin. So he sees through our investigations and our military especially that Donald is paying off his debts. Jared, secrets. Bill Barr, the United States of America, I can do whatever I want. The Republicans see the 6th house of service as a means to use their budgets to bribe people and launder money. The 5th house of the sun, which is the president, Donald drew the Ace of Wands. I get to do what I want. Putin says this 5th house of the sun is backed by Russian strength, which is compromat, blackmail, exerting force. Jared has the magician, which is, you know, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un in data transfers. Barr sees the 5th house of the sun as candidate Donald, the King of Pentacles, and the Republican Party, the Three of Wands, that they are doing the merchants they are the merchants. They are the ones that do the business of whatever Donald wants done. In the 4th house of defense, protecting USA, Donald drew the Knight of Wands. His defenses are his Knight of Wands surrounding him and doing his errands. He doesn't care about the U.S. Putin sees that the USA defenses depend upon Trump, Russia, the lovers. Jared sees the USA defenses dependent upon the King of Pentacles, Donald, as candidate Trump and his connections. Bill Barr, the defenses for the United States are going to be depressed, disappointed, and let down. And the Republican Party sees the Queen of Pentacles. Yes, Rebecca Mercer is the one who's facilitating the defenses for the United States and the sale of arms and intelligence and whatever. And the 3rd house of home communications, publications, our neighborhoods, the way we speak and talk with each other. Donald drew the Empress,
The messaging that's going on in Washington, D.C. is controlled by Trump, Russia, basically Putin's talking points.
And whoops, speaking of, I have to interrupt my own video here. Check this out. About communications, how this Aries new moon is touching the eclipse from January 19th. Look at this. This was filed today. Penn American Center plaintiff against Donald J. Trump. Filed today. The plaintiff Penn American Center seeks a declaratory judgment against injunctive relief against defendant President Donald J. Trump for his alleged suppression of media free speech. Defendant moves to dismiss the amended complaint under federal rules, arguing that plaintiff lacks standing. The complaint fails to claim a claim, and the court lacks the authority to enjoin defendant. For reasons below, the motion is granted and denied in part. Specifically, claims for declaratory relief based on defendant's practices of revoking or threatening to revoke White House press credentials and revoking or threatening to revoke national security clearances may proceed. Injunctive relief is improper. For all other allegations, plaintiff lacks standing. So basically the bottom line is this. Of course, POTUS has broad authority regarding the press and national security clearances. The distinction here is that Don Julio repeatedly pressed the limits and has done so in a way that it infringes upon a reporter's rights. And that's a bridge way too far for most courts. Awesome. Continue on.
Points. Putin has his eyes on Nancy Pelosi and what she's doing. Jared is using all of his financial burdens via communications to be solved. And Bill Barr, this is, having the upper hand at winning. No, this is not playing. The rules are gone. He's just going to win. He's not even engaging in that game. He's just going to do what he wants. And the Republicans are just going to kind of temper the messages back and forth, back and forth. This is what they meant. This is what they meant to say. Or they just make stuff up. In the second house of income, gains, profits, Donald drew the Ace of Pentacles. Putin grabbed the Chariots to make profit fast. Jared, the Ace of Cups, we're going to do it. We're going to love it. Bill Barr, the Ace of Swords. We're going to unleash, we're going to slash and grab and take everything we want. And the Republican Party is going to follow that and behind Jared. In the first house of identity, Donald sees himself as the great temperance, blending money, blending agencies, blending roles, blending doublespeak, everything. His job is to make things happen. Putin sees himself as the recipient of Donald, who's the Knight of Cups, who's always offering things to him. Jared, it's his job to just demolish everything. Ace of Swords. Just a second. Bill Barr sees his role as the moon, the treachery, the deceit, the lies upon the United States of America, because this is the trouble that the Republican Party is in because of the Mueller investigation. And the Republican Party, their identity is the Seven of Pentacles. Look at all this money. Look at all these things we have. So all of this is getting eclipsed hard. If not resolution, the steps going that way that can't be turned back. It's done. Wow. They're going to hate what they did. They're going to hate it. Okay, thanks, you guys.